Back in my YN days, I think I was like 18 or 19 at the time. Me and the Rock Boys was down there in the DMV squeezing the wet rag out, stacking money when these local dudes started illing on us, which led to me almost getting hit 3 times. Here's the story.
Alright, you kids get to bed, I get the storybook.
3 shots, close range, never touch me. Divine and the beach, you can't stop by. I'm drinking my ties with Tata, down in the Vata. Bye-bye, word life, I dabbled in crazy weed. Without rap, I was crazy straight. Partner, I'm still spending money from 88.
Point blank range, when a young Jay-Z almost got shot 3 times. The late summer air in Brooklyn was heavy with sirens, steam from sewer grates, and ambition nobody knew how to name. Sean Carter was 17, going on 18 years old at the time, tall, lean, and restless, his skin still carrying the glow of youth, but his eyes already older than the block. He and his 2 best friends, DeHaven and Emery, spent most days on the cracked steps of an abandoned brownstone off Park Avenue, passing time making pocket change from direct sales as they dreamed of getting big in the D game like Tony Montana in the movie. Crack had recently hit the boroughs and all the hustlers were still figuring it out and how to get a big bag off the stuff. Yo, son, one day I'm gonna have the whole world screaming my name when I get a record deal, Sean said, referencing his street/rap name, Jay-Z, tapping the dented metal railing like it was a mic stand. Here he go again, DeHaven laughed. Boy think he run and DMC all in one. You'll see, Jay said, smirking. Watch. He'd been rhyming since he could talk, memorizing flows from mixtapes, writing verses on ripped notebook paper between short hustles and long nights. But in the Marcy projects, dreams were only respected if they came with dollars. And for Jay, music didn't feed the fridge at the time, even though he was on TV after featuring on fellow Marcy spitter, Jazz-O's song, Hawaiian Sophie. Jazz-O already had a small deal with a label named E&Me and brought his lil mans along to join in his success, but Jay only pocketed $700 total during that time. Not enough to cop that 500 Benz he wanted and moved to Manhattan. JYZ's street crew wasn't built for glamour. They were built for survival. DeHaven, also a Marcy Projects kid, was the muscle. Not too tall, but always ready to set shit off like the typical Brooklyn nigga was known for doing in those days. He always rocked a hoodie even in the summertime. Emery was the brains, half Guyanese with a sharp tongue and sharper eyes. Together they were the Rock Boys, a name Jay came up with after falling in love with Run DMC's song King of Rock, which Jay did a freestyle over, rapping about the drug game and being a black Scarface and the king of selling rocks. Each man was loyal, each one hungry, each one ready to become a young rich nigga 22 years before the Migos was even heard about. Their first major hustle came through Emery's cousin, who worked a block off Eastern Parkway. Herb and hard, lightweight, easy to move. Jay hesitated at first. His mom was strict, still working double shifts at the hospital. But every time she came home tired, her shoes falling apart, that hesitation turned into drive. Money changed everything. How they dressed, how they walked, how people treated them. By the time Jay turned 19 in '88, they were small names with big ambitions, and Brooklyn loved to whisper about the next ones coming up. But behind every move was danger. The older hustlers watched them, sometimes with amusement, sometimes with envy, and every step higher meant another set of eyes waiting for them to slip. The Rock Boys moved fast, too fast. By that summer, they turned from middlemen to mini-bosses. Emery handled connects, DeHaven enforced order, and Jay was the public face, known for freestyling at parties with a diamond, tooth grin, and a 380 tucked in his waistband. One night, After hitting a small-time lick that cleared $5,000, the trio sat in DeHaven's basement counting bills on a dirty ping-pong table. "This rap shit gonna save us," Jay said, flipping through stacks. "Soon as I get enough to record a demo, it's over. I'm talking labels, videos, the whole thing. Baby Oz, E," or he smirked. "You better hope these fiends don't start singing. First, we moving too loud out here." "Loud bring money," DeHaven said. "Ain't no kingpin ever been quiet." They laughed, but each of them knew loud also brought the Jakes. 12, the cops. And soon Brooklyn started noticing the noise. A rival crew from Brownsville started taxing small dealers for moving product near their block. One night, they cornered Jay outside a bodega. The confrontation ended with a box cutter, blood on tin boots, and Jay running breathless through alleys with his hoodie drenched in sweat. He didn't kill nobody that night, but he crossed a line he couldn't uncross. For weeks, his mom begged him to stop hanging out late. "Sean, God don't bless chaos," she warned, but he was already too far in. The streets were feeding him something the church never could: power. By age 20, the crew had grown sharper, colder. Emery got them connected to a mid-level supplier named Tone Caprice, who ran product down from the Bronx. He liked Jay's confidence and DeHaven's discipline. In a few months, they were moving weight they'd only dreamed about. But Tone had ops. Real ones, and when one of his shipments got seized, he blamed the Rock Boys. That was the day everything started to unravel. Jay came home one night to find his mom's door kicked in, her apartment ransacked. A neighbor said 2 men in hoodies had been asking for Jay from Marcy. He packed his duffel that night, heart pounding, realizing the game had come full circle. They had to leave Brooklyn like ASAP. Emery made the call. "I got family down in a little town called Silver Spring, Maryland. Quiet spot, close to DC. We can rebuild there. BR's it." It wasn't a plan. It was survival instinct. 3 young hustlers running from the city that raised them. So like the movie Harlem Nights that came out that same year. Before they left, Jay stood on the corner of Myrtle Ave one last time, staring at the cracked pavement where his rhymes once echoed. "Brooklyn made me," he said quietly, "but it ain't gonna break me." The next morning, the trio drove a rental van out of New York City with nothing but cash, a stolen Chrome Magnum 357, a Remington shotgun, and a dream that refused to die. The drive from Brooklyn to Silver Spring took 6 hours, but it felt like 6 lifetimes. They rode in silence most of the way, the hum of the highway louder than any words they could have said. DeHaven was behind the wheel, hoodie up, one hand on the steering wheel and the other resting on his blicky. Emery sat in the passenger seat, scrolling through his brick-sized mobile phone, trying to reach his cousin Malik, who had been in Silver Spring since Emery's auntie moved there in 1982. Jay sat in one of the van's back rows staring out the window, watching New York fade behind him. Every gas station they stopped at, he'd jot bars into his notebook, rhymes about running from fate, about loyalty and loss, about the dope game that was piling up the bread. "Yo," Emery said after a while, "Malik said we good. He got a spot we can crash at for a few nights. Silver Spring ain't the hood like that. It's calm, suburbs type shit so we can lay low." DeHaven grunted. "Suburbs? Ain't never trusted no quiet streets. You can't hear what's coming." Jay half smiled. "Then we make noise. That's what we do." By nightfall, they reached Malik's spot, a narrow townhouse with peeling siding and the backyard fenced in by tall weeds. Malik was in his late 20s, heavy-set, eyes always scanning, but he welcomed them like family. "You from Brooklyn?" he asked, shaking Jay's hand. "Mommy moved us down here a while ago, but I still let these Bammers know I'm from BK, son. I hope y'all bring that hustle with you, 'cause it's mad money down here." "Oh, word?" Jay replied.
Y'all see, a lot of these young boys ain't really been out there in them streets like I was. Everything I spit about, I did it. Now, if you good folks haven't done so yet, go ahead and politely press that like button on your screen. Then hit that subscribe button as well, because this kid GK Davis spent a lot of time bringing y'all my story, and that's the least you wonderful people can do for this entertainment.
Those words Malik said became everything in the months ahead. At first, they tried to lay low. Jay got a job at a car wash while recording rough tracks at a local studio. DeHaven picked up shifts at a warehouse. Emery handled Malik's small weed trade on the side. but it didn't take long for ambition to creep back in. Maryland money was slower but cleaner, and Silver Spring was full of bored kids with deep pockets and no plugs. Emory saw it first, ain't nobody moving real weight out here. They small timers, yo, we could house this town in a month top.
Niggas who used to dribble down in VA was hurting them in the home of the Turbans. Got it dirt cheap for them. Plus, if they were short with cheese out.
So they started small, bags, rocks, small re-ups. Within weeks, they had college kids, bouncers, and club promoters all buying from them. Their Brooklyn hustle hit Maryland like a cold front. Jay became the face again, the smooth talker, the rapper/hustler with a story to tell. His music started circulating through local clubs. One track, Corner to the Capitol, even got play on a DC college radio show. He'd rap about pain like it was currency, about how loyalty costs more than money, and how God stays silent in the projects but loud in ambition. One night, after performing at a small lounge near Georgia Avenue, a promoter approached him. "You from New York, right? You got that hunger in your voice. That's rare down here." Jay grinned. "I rap like my life depend on it, 'cause sometimes it does. But success brought spotlight, and spotlight always brought shadows." A DC crew called the Street Kings started hearing about the Brooklyn boys moving product and pulling in money that should be going in their pockets. They ran a large part of Southeast DC, ruthless, territorial, and led by a wild-ass nigga named Lambo Joe. When word reached him that outsiders were touching his money, he made a quiet promise. Them New York niggas gonna learn who run the city. By early winter, Jay's name was buzzing across both Silver Spring and parts of DC. He had the swagger of a rapper on the come-up and the aura of someone who seemed too much too young. He started shooting low-budget music videos with borrowed cars and real guns, images that felt more like biography than performance. The tension with Street Kings built quietly at first. Petty things like stolen clientele and slick comments at clubs. But the streets could only hold pressure for so long. One night after recording at a studio in Hyattsville, the crew came outside to find their car windows smashed. All tires cut open, and a note sat under the driver's side wiper. "Go back to New York or get buried down here." DeHaven's jaws clenched. "This gotta be them bitch-ass Street King niggas, yo." Jay stared at the note, silent. He crumpled it and tossed it on the ground. "Don't sweat it. Let's just keep grinding." The next week, things got louder. Emory's cousin Malik got jumped outside a liquor store by 3 DC dudes. Nothing fatal, but enough to send a message. Jay and DeHaven retaliated, catching one of the attackers in a parking lot, using their gun butts to whip him good, knocking out a few teeth in the process. Everyone knew it was only a matter of time before shots rang. Jay started sleeping with his gun on the nightstand, his dreams split between platinum plaques and bloody concrete. Even in the studio, he rapped like he was confessing. One track in particular, Saints Don't Survive in the City, became a local anthem, a song about being haunted by ambition. "Every time I close my eyes," he told Emory after a session, "I see 2 futures, one where I'm on stage, one where I'm on a shirt." M nodded. "You just gotta pick which one gonna come first." That's where this story hits its climax. Jay's name is blowing up, but the street heat is catching up even faster. The club scene changes everything. By New Year's, Jay was everywhere. Clips of his songs bounced around the whole DC, gritty poetic street tales that felt too real to be fiction. His Maryland buzz reached back to Brooklyn. Even DJs in Atlanta and Miami were spinning his records. He was living between 2 worlds, studio by day, paranoia from the dope game by night. Money came in waves now, features, club shows, and street profits. Malik's townhouse had turned into a mini operation spot, but the more Jay's name grew, the more the Street Kings crew watched. "Man, this rap nigga needs to be dealt with," one of the Street King soldiers muttered one night in a barbershop. His second in command, a tall, dark-skinned man named Janky, replied, "They digging in our pockets heavy, bro. New York cats don't respect no turf." Lambo Joe smirked, gold tooth glinting. "Then we gotta stop playing with these clowns and remind them who the city belonged to." Back in Silver Spring, DeHaven felt the tension. "Bro, we need to chill with them flashy videos. They making us targets." Jay shook his head. Nah, we making history. I ain't go through hell to hide now. He couldn't see it then, but every lyric, every video, every photo made him easier to find. On Valentine's Day night, it was a Saturday at Club Mirage, downtown D.C., packed, smoky, and vibrating with bass. Jay had been booked to perform his hit, Saints Don't Survive in the City. The crowd knew every word. Their lighters up like flashlights in a storm. Brooklyn to Maryland, we all the same pain, he shouted mid-set, chest heaving with adrenaline. DeHaven stood near the stage, scanning the crowd. Emery was by the bar, chatting with a promoter about the money owed to his boy. Everything felt like victory until the lights flickered. 3 men in black hoodies and ski masks slipped in through the side entrance. No one noticed at first. Then the first shot cracked. Pop, 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 pop. Deed's Eames tore through the smoke and flashing lights. The DJ dropped behind the booth. The crowd scattered. Jay hit the floor, heart pounding, the mic still clutched in his hand. Emery returned fire, ducking behind the table. The club turned into chaos, people crying, chairs breaking, glass shattering. One of the shooters cornered Jay as club goers nearly trampled each other to get out of the venue. I got your ass now, the masked man said before aiming a large Smith & Wesson revolver at the timid rapper who didn't have his weapon on him because he was performing. Sean saw his life flash before his eyes, followed by the muzzle flashes from his attacker's blicky. 3 shots from point-blank range, then the masked man was gone. Jay had held his breath as he froze in place, but then noticed that he didn't feel no pain. Oh shit, your boy's still alive. I gotta put this in a song, no doubt. When the dust cleared, Lambo Joe's right-hand man lay bleeding near the exit. The others had fled. Emery's arm burned with pain from catching a stray that grazed him, but he smiled after seeing that his friends were okay. DeHaven grabbed both M and J by their jacket collars, dragging him toward the back door. Come on, son, we out! They sped off into the D.C. night, blood on Emery's sleeve and sirens echoing in the distance by morning. The headlines hit every local newspaper, 2 dead in D.C. club shootings. Chaos flooded local news stations, blurry footage of the aftermath. After the near-death experience, Sean started getting super paranoid and was having thoughts of leaving all of the dough behind that him and his boys was raking in from hustling. It just wasn't worth it if he got clapped before he could even enjoy his wealth. DeHaven and Emery didn't make it easy on his decision because they wanted to keep milking them Bammers down in the DMV for all of the bread they could get. As luck would have it, when Jay went back up top to celebrate his mommy's birthday, some rat had snitched on their location and a 5 in the morning raid was conducted. The bad thing about that was they had just re-upped with their Peruvian connect, so Malik's spot was flooded with weight. In addition to a new case of Uzis and Tech 9 fully automatics they had got a good deal on. A couple of boxes of shells thrown in for free. Silver Spring SWAT arrested Emery, Malik, and DeHaven and booked them all on weapons and drug charges. Sean Carter escaped the prison cell just as he had escaped death. Despite going on to become one of the best rappers in the game, Jay couldn't sleep. Every time headlights flashed through the blinds, he reached for his hammer. The streets gave him a name, but they also gave him nightmares.